Recording has begun.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Shahzad Hussain and I live at 20 Primary Way in Undercliff. And today it's been 168 days. It's been 168 days that my brother's been kidnapped from my care by the state, the local authority, Bradford Council, in collaboration with West Yorkshire Police. But now it seems even more prevalent that the county court, Bradford County Court, and the judiciary are involved as well in my brother's abduction, which I will go over today because obviously some further information has happened. As you know, yesterday there was a court hearing regarding a gas safety inspection at Bradford County Court, which I was asked to come down to. Basically, I didn't go down because I realised I have a premonition, and for safeguarding reasons, as my personal safety and security could not be guaranteed, I didn't go down. I did, however, attempt to ask the judge if I could come down remotely, because I had gone down to remote. All previous hearings were remote hearings, and the fact that they wanted me to go down to the courtroom just out of the blue like this without an explanation, having charged me £275 previously for the privilege of having it booked as a remote hearing, I just felt that something was wrong. And if I feel that there's something wrong, it's usually right. They usually were planning something. So I didn't go down yesterday. And as you know, yesterday was very windy. It was highly windy, and I'm glad that my three monkeys are still up, because I was worried that they might fall down, the three monkeys. But yeah, so anyway, I rang up the courts today and tried to find out a little bit more information about what happened yesterday. No doubt the injunction order to forcibly enter the property to a gas safety inspection would have been granted. No doubt the cost order by the solicitor of £5,000 would have been granted, because the judge is on the take. She's just going there to rubber stamp things, because that's what her job is. That's what her role is. There's no independence. There's no like justice or truth. It's all about how much money you can make out of the situation. And these silly people think they're going to make money out of me. They've already been trying to bankrupt me for years. They've taken all my money and resources, and now they've even taken my brother. So yes, no doubt that would have happened. But most importantly, I had asked the judge to process my application, which was on the 17th of October, 2 hours before the last listed hearing, which was a remote hearing, where I had made an application to record that hearing, and it was simply 2 hours beforehand. Within half an hour of receiving the application, the matter was adjourned. Do you think there's a correlation there? No correlation? Oh yeah, sure. Of course, the judge no doubt started shitting bricks, realizing that my application to record is valid, and it's undeniable, because these are not privately listed hearings such as in the family courts, where they utilize the privacy of the child to on the back of which that they can commit acts of villainy and do things without impunity. These are meant to be public hearings. As a county court, anybody should be able to come in and sit in and view the hearings, and if I'm partaking in them, I should be particularly able to record them, especially since the last recorded hearing, actually on the 18th of July, before District Judge Mitchell, when I put an appeal application in, they said, oh, I didn't even record properly. So it's quite incumbent upon them to allow for recordings to take place, because there may be a technical fault with your recording system. Anyway, so there was a hearing listed yesterday, and now all of a sudden I've rung up to find out, get an update. That's very reasonable, and the court staff there, Tracy Hopkinson of Bradford County Court, slammed the phone down on me, and I was very rude. She's saying, oh, we've got no updates, and you can't call us anymore. And I said, what? Why? You understand? And then she's directing me to an email received recently by Julie Collins, which is a cluster manager. So how it works is that the court staff, Bradford County Court, there's numerous individuals, Tracy Hutchinson, Tracy Hopkinson, all these other, Debbie Barrett, and all these other people. They're like low workers that answer the phone calls. They have a manager, which is Debbie Hamshaw, and that's like the supervisor or manager. She also let the cat out of the bag when I spoke to her in November. But above her is Louise Holmes. All right, she's meant to be the operations manager for various courts in Bradford. And then above her, because obviously I've been trying to speak to her, and she was refusing to speak to me, considering I was sending her daily email messages. She then arranged to speak to me on the 5th of January, when the Judge Wilcox had listed the case. After the Judge Wilcox had listed the case, only then is she agreeing to speak to me on Tuesday, the 9th of January. And then at the very last minute, on the 8th of January, she emails me saying, oh no, we need to cancel that, and looks to rearrange it for Friday the 12th of January. And so when I tried to speak to her on Friday the 12th of January, she's not available. Alright, so just basically give me the runaround. So she's acting and behaving in a despicable manner, unprofessional manner, considering that I'm trying to arrange a telephone appointment with her. I'm not doing anything wrong there. So when I'm trying to arrange a telephone appointment, she's like, obfuscating from one point to the next, obfuscating and disappearing. And so when she refused to speak to me when she refused to partake in the telephone appointment that had been booked for the 9th of January, now referred to the 12th of January, she was not making herself available, and I was being given the runaround. I then determined who her manager is, which is Julie Collins. I tried to contact her by email saying, are you the manager? And she confirmed she is. And then subsequently that day, I managed to speak to Louise Holmes in the afternoon. Now she had availability, but she was timing it. She was looking to set me up. And so subsequently, after that call, she's just told Julie Collins, oh, this guy's wasting our time. And then as a consequence, Julie Collins has banned me effectively from telephoning the courts. All right, I've only discovered that, that you can't just make up stuff up. I'm complaining about Louise Holmes to her manager, and the manager's not listening to anything I'm saying as a member of the public, and who's something that they should be serving with. She's going to her subordinate and saying, well, whatever you're saying, make some lies up about this guy, and then we will just ban him. And so they've ultimately banned me from telephoning the court. So not only have they put in a civil restraint order saying that I can't put in any appeals into this case, I now am banned from speaking to the courts. Why? What's happened? Have I been rude or disrespectful to these people? No. They have got caught out in their lies and deceptions, and as a consequence of which my brother's been kidnapped. So now taking a step back, you can see that, oh, I see what's happened here. So on the 7th of August 2023, when I put in an application to the courts and say, look, I'm going to put in my skeleton argument, give me 14 days to put in my skeleton argument of the full fraud and deception and abuse that I've suffered in these court proceedings to the appeal judge, Circuit Judge Gosnell, within 24 hours, the police are at my house with the Mariah van, alright, coming to kidnap my brother and arrest me for neglect. You're not even coming to the house. There has been nobody that's raising a safeguarding alert. They just made something up and come and arrested and abducted my brother, who is in these court proceedings as a respondent, as a defendant. And then subsequently, when I've gone before Judge Wilcox on the 9th of October, she's not said, well, wait on a minute. I've got two defendants here. One of them just disappeared. I want to know where he is. I want to know what kind of conditions he's going to be held in, and whether he's going to be remaining with the council. She didn't ask those questions. She just said, oh, when are you going? So we're going to list another hearing, and when are you going to be answering the police call? So she knew. The District Judge Louise Wilcox knew of my arrest, and she was happy for me to be, detained. So this is all working together now. Well, this is what's happening. You can lie. Anybody can lie to start with to fool somebody, but over a passage of time, you tangle yourself up in your own lies and deceptions, and then you put the cat out of the bag, and you put yourself into knots. And then as a consequence of putting yourself into knots of your own lies, then you say, we don't want to talk to you anymore. Because the questions I'm asking are highlighting the contradictions. So they're saying, we're forcing me to write things down now. I'm sending them daily emails. They're not responding to the written emails. So it's basically, we don't want to talk to you. Put it in a writing. When I put it in writing, we're not going to answer the writing, and we're just going to obfuscate and just say, trust us. Absolutely horrendous, isn't it? So we're at this stage now, several years later. This is how they murdered my mother and the courts, and this is now how they abducted my brother for the last 168 days and are holding him hostage, because obviously what they want me to say, just shut up, don't expose our lies and corruptions, our systemic failures and incompetences, because it hurts our public reputation. So it's their public reputation versus our human suffering. And I'm just reminding myself of how this is no different from the post office scandal, where the post office knew that the Horizon system was failing, but because of their public reputation, they were quite happy to sacrifice and throw under the bus the innocent postmasters and cause them suffering and make money out of it. You see, this is how they operate. We want our public reputation protected, But at the same time, we want you to pay for, you, the members of the public, to pay for our failures and become easy scapegoats. That's exactly what's happening here. The courts and tribunal services, which is reliant upon the public image that there's justice in the society, and the British court system, or the British judicial system, is the best in the world. So that's the reputation that we've now sent to the world, that the British justice system is the best in the world. And that veneer of lies that's been peddled, or propaganda that's been peddled to the world, means the fact that we're so successful at it that all these other people in poor countries, war-torn countries, are running. They're not running to France or Germany, are they? They're running to the UK, because what everybody wants is justice. What everybody wants is have their rights, personal rights and dignities respected and protected. And that's the spiel that the British send to the world, that we are the inventors or the final arbitrators of truth and justice. So anybody would say, well, yes, of course, if these people are about truth and justice, we want to come to that country. So everybody's rushing into this country. And this is why we've got problem with the migrant crisis and people being shipped to Rwanda. Rwanda doesn't have a truth and justice, a great legal system. We're told that the British legal system is the best in the world. That's the public perception. The reality is that they're underfunded, incompetent buffoons that are selling themselves to the local authority or anybody who's going to give them any money. And when I'm looking to expose that, I am being victimized. My brother's now been kidnapped for 168 days without any legal or law in place. It's all fraud and corruption, lies and deception being perpetrated at the highest echelons of this the legal system, in order to maintain the status quo that they are beyond reproach, benevolent and godly, whereas I am a malevolent fraudster and evil, sly, cunning, deceitful Pakistani Muslim. That's what the problem here is. And so everybody's already buying into that narrative. There's a narrative that's been created. I am scum, they are godly. Well, the reality is that they're not godly. They are just as scummy as the rest, as everybody else. They're now under a deficit, a financial deficit, an intellectual deficit, and more importantly, a moral deficit. And they can't do the jobs properly, and they're just lies, and that's why they don't want to talk to me, because I've got them on their lies, and they know the fact that I've told them I'm a